Big board time. Yep, that's what we're doing on today's show. I am Nic Rohloff. This is the Heat Report by Chat Sports. I ranked the top 10 players that I have for the Miami Heat at 15. So I kind of put this in terms of, do I think they'll be there? And if they are going to potentially be there, I rank them in what order I would draft them. Plus, I also have 10 draft targets for the 43rd overall pick that the Miami Heat have in the second round. That's on the later portion of today's show. But before I give you my big board, let me know, who do you want the Heat to draft at pick number 15? Could be Ke'el Ware, could be Jared McCain, could be Ron Holland. Name a prospect down for me in the comment section. All right, before we actually get into my real list, I did want to throw this out there because I've talked about it in the past and on Twitter. My number 2 overall player, not for the Heat, for the entire draft class, is Nikola Topic, the point guard from Serbia, who's 6'5", 6'6". He's one of the best playmakers and ball handlers in this draft. He's also super young. He does have a partially torn ACL, which has caused him to potentially slide in the lottery. And there's some that speculate that he could fall out of the lottery, which is where Miami Heat is picking at 15. If he is there at 15, I am sprinting, I am not walking, I am not jogging, I am not running. I am in a full-on dead sprint to the podium to get Nikola Topic to the 305. But with that being said, I'd be absolutely stunned if that was the case, which is why I don't put him on the big board. But if he somehow unbelievably falls, that's my top guy. The most realistic option is Jared McCain, and he is my number 1 draft guy for the Miami Heat. And when you look at what my actual big board is, which maybe I can release it on Twitter or not, he is my 9th overall prospect. I absolutely adore Jared McCain and think he could be a great fit for the Miami Heat. He has a quick and repeatable jump shot, no matter if it's off the catch or if it's off the dribble. And something that would fit Miami quite well is that how good he is at moving off the ball. I think he could play in a Klay Thompson-esque role, running off screens and drawing out defenses and really just adding more diversity to the Miami Heat offense. But he's also a natural playmaker, as he was a point guard playing in high school. He's also a good defender. Good strength, quickness. He can really get into you and play physical on the defensive end of the floor. So to me, he's just a shorter Duncan Robinson in terms of his role with Miami, but also plays defense. I kind of compare him to Wesley Matthews. I like Jared McCain quite a bit. Devin Carter is my number 2 guy, the guard/forward from Providence. On my big board, I actually have him as the 10th overall prospect. He is a Miami Heat basketball player through and through. He's 6'2", with a 6'8" wingspan. He plays at 100% full speed at all times. I said he was 6'2". He averaged 8.7 rebounds a game in the Big East for Providence. Unheard of. Also shot 37.7% from 3, so he can score the basketball, man. And his ability to fit in any role offensively is just so enticing for me, which is why I think he'd be a great role player from day one on Miami. Turns the ball over a little bit, one of his biggest knocks, but he can defend, he can shoot it, he can score, he can rebound, he can do it all. I compare him to a guard version of Josh Hart. My number 3 guy, Ke'el Ware, the center from Indiana. A little bit lower on my big board and compared to the other 2, but he is the 3rd guy for me in terms of Miami. The 14th overall prospect on my big board, who's 6'11", just almost 6 or 7 feet tall, 4.5 wingspan, really good measurables and size that could benefit Miami as they need to add more size, but they need functional size. And that's what Ware could bring as someone who shot 42.5% from 3 last year, only 1.3 attempts a game, but I do think that it can be scaled to a 3.5, 4 attempts a game type guy where he's shooting 36, 37% from 3. Really good rim protector. The only question for him is his motor, as he took a lot of plays off, and his work ethic is a question. But if Pat Riley checks both those boxes, the talent is absolutely undeniable for Ke'el Ware out of Indiana. Still got some guys to talk about on this show, but I just want to give a little programming note. We're going to be live for the 2024 NBA Draft Wednesday evening when that commissioner, Adam Silver, takes the podium, we will be live. So hit that sub button and join us on Wednesday night. Number 4, Tristan Da Silva, the wing from Colorado. Older prospect, but I really like what his fit would be in Miami. He's actually my 15th overall player on my big board in total, which is where the Heat are picking. 6'8", 6'10 wingspan. Just an all-around player that is very similar to Jaime Jaquez Jr. and could be a great pairing with Triple J in the Heat's wing front court depth chart, if you will, for the foreseeable future. And them working together off the bench would be absolutely fantastic. He's a good catch and shoot three-point shooter, shot at 39.5% last year. Really good IQ defender, knows how to position himself on the weak side, but can also defend in the isolation setting. He can guard 2 through 4, if you're asking me. Not the best athlete, but just does everything well, man. And I actually am pretty bullish on his playmaking. Kind of was a hub for Colorado at the top of the key, would make good decisions, averaged 2.4 assists last year for the Buffaloes. Number 5, Ron Holland, the forward from the G League Ignite, who actually is higher on my big board than Da Silva and Ware. He's my number 12th overall prospect, but I think Ware and Da Silva are better fits for Miami, which is why he is ranked a little bit lower on my personal Heat big board. 6'6", 6'10 wingspan, an explosive athlete who can just finish around the rim and can finish amongst the trees with some finesse. He would already be one of the best, if not the best, wing defenders in Miami. Year one. I'm not even kidding. That's how good he is defensively, moving his feet, getting into you, keeping his arms stretched out. He is an elite defender. He's also a good Heat culture fit because of his mentality. He's not shy to take a big shot, make a big play, and he's very confident in himself, which Jimmy Butler would like. Only downside, he can't shoot the ball. Shot 24% from 3, had a lot of bad misses, 20-plus air balls / shots that barely nicked the rim. I question if he can even play in crunch time, at least to this point, because of how bad he is in terms of spacing the floor. Teams will just sag off of him and pretty much double your best players to force him to shoot. But if the Heat developmental system was able to get him to a average three-point shooter, we're talking about an all-star caliber player in Ron Holland. We're going to go to the G League Ignite once again with my 6th guy, Tyler Smith, someone we have not talked about that much here on the channel, but he is someone that Heat fans will like because of the size he can provide. He measured in at 6'9" with a 7'1" wingspan, and just like his G League Ignite teammate Ron Holland, he's one of the most explosive athletes in this draft. You simply do not want to jump with him when he elevates, whether it be to get a rebound, whether it be coming down the lane for a slam dunk. It is unbelievable how much he was able to finish around the rim. He would be a really good rim or lob protect or lob threat. Jeez, I just combined there. For the Heat on the off ball, he could play that little dunker spot. And I actually like his jumper. Shot 36% from 3. I think it's smooth, no hitch, and I think he can rise above defenders with that standing reach that he possesses at 8'9". He struggled at the combine shooting, but I am a little bit bullish on that ability. Can play the 4, and this wouldn't be a small ball 4. This would be a legit 4. He's almost pretty much the same size as Bam Adebayo. Tyler Smith is someone I'm intrigued in. Kind of comped him to Ke'el Ware Jr. a little bit, and I think Heat fans would like Ke'el Ware on the Heat. What should the Heat draft, though? If you were to pick a position Miami should go out and target, what should it be? Should it be a guard type G if you want it to be a wing type W, or would you rather go with a big / center type those Bs? Number 7, Rob Dillingham, the guard from Kentucky, who's actually my 13th overall ranked prospect, but I just don't love his fit in Miami. I know a lot of Heat fans would welcome Dillingham into the club, and I would welcome him in too. He's one of the best scorers in this draft. He can do it at all 3 levels, and he's one of the best, if not the best, ball handlers as well. He's so shifty, good three-point shooter, can shoot it off the catch, but specialized in off-the-dribble three-point attempts. But he's not afraid to drive inside. He is going to take it and try to finish and get to the rim and put some pressure on you. One of my knocks on him is that he didn't really have that many assists, wasn't the best playmaker at Kentucky, but he was forced into a scoring role off the bench for the Wildcats. The biggest issue I have is that his frame is just really small. 6'1", 6'3" wingspan, 164 pounds. That's not going to cut it, man, and he's going to get hunted relentlessly on the defensive end. And like he's going to be ran off the court in late situations in the fourth quarter because of how much they hunt him. I just kind of feel like his ceiling's capped at a sixth man. And if he's able to be a competent off-ball defender, he can be Lou Williams. If he can't, it's like a Bones Highland situation. Jalen Tyson at number 8, the guard/forward for Cal, who has really grown in my big board lately, and I love Jalen Tyson. 23rd overall, still maybe a little bit of reach, but the Heat don't care about reaching. If they like a guy, they like a guy, and it's kind of reported that they do. He's 6'5" with a 6'8" wingspan, averaged 19.6 points per game a year ago, did it all for the Golden Bears. 7 rebounds, 3.5 assists. He's a very skilled scorer who did not settle. He works at his own pace, and what I liked when he was handling the ball in the pick and roll is how patient he was. He had no issue just kind of pausing, floating a little bit through the mid-range area, and exploding to the rim to change up his speed, or pulling up for a jumper, or taking a step back 3. I like what he brings to the table on the offensive side of the floor. My only knock is that he's a little careless with the ball in his hands, had 3.1 turnovers to 3.5 assists. That's not great. The only question as well, too, is can he scale his three-point shooting? Shot decent at 36%, but his three-point rate in terms of shooting threes was only 29.1%, which is relatively low. I think Tyson is going to be a really good, number 2, number 3 guy off the bench for a team in the NBA. We're going to go to a center here in Yves Missi, the center from Baylor, who did work out with Miami. He's my 24th overall ranked prospect, and this is someone that could be a good long-term, but also help you in the short-term type pick. Year 1, he would help you off the bench as your backup center who can protect the rim and be really good in the pick and roll, rolling to the rim. He's an excellent lob threat, and he has really strong hands to handle passes in tight windows and catch some tough lobs. He led the Big 12 in dunks last year with 63. And honestly, he has some good ball handling to him. At times, Baylor would get him isolated at the top of the key with a slower big, and trust me, to take him off the dribble, and that's the highest upside with him. Like, he can, and it kind of looks like there is a chance for him to get a little bit of a bag from the free throw line extended, which is something that would be very welcomed for a center. 6'10" with a 7'2" wingspan, so the height is there. Don't know if he could play alongside Bam right away, but if he's able to develop a jumper, maybe, but he didn't really have that at Baylor. 61% free throw shooter, not ideal. Last player we're going to talk about, someone that we haven't had a lot of conversation with at the channel as well, another Baylor Bear, Jacoby Walter, the guard from the Bears. He averaged 14.5 points for them last season. He is my 19th overall player on my big board, and I compare him to Grayson Allen. Yes, you heard that correctly. 6'4" with a 6'10" wingspan. Listen, you guys know how much I love wingspan. +6 is always going to be welcomed in the school of Roley. He has a lot of upside to be a 3-and-D guard in the NBA. He specifically is a three-point shooter. He has to work on taking it to the rack and getting to the mid-range. 57% of his shot attempts last year came from 3, but he is a good shooter, man. And even though it says he shot 34% from 3, he's a 79% free throw shooter. That tells me that probably will be better in the NBA when he gets more work and gets stronger. So I think that 34% will be much better. And he has the capability of being a really good guard defender as well with that wingspan and athleticism he possesses. So to me, Jacoby Walter is someone that we haven't talked about enough that should get some consideration for Miami at pick 15. Honorable mention, Zach Edey. Had to do it for Major Anthony Nelson, but the center from Purdue is someone that I wouldn't put in my top 10. And realistically, I don't think the Heat should draft him. And I know you guys hate on that in the comments section, and that's all right. You guys have your opinions, I have mine. Like, if the Heat drafted him at 15, I'm not going to hate him. I'm not. Like, some people think I just hate the dude. That's not the case. I will root for Zach Edey like it was Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo. That's the type of fan I am. I just think there's better options for Miami at pick 15, but Edey, 7'4", 7'9" wingspan, would give Miami quite a lot of size coming off the bench, something they need, but I just wouldn't want to take a backup center at pick 15. Grade my big board. I just gave you 12 prospects, 10 that I ranked, 1 honorable mention, and 1 that would be a dream scenario for the Heat with Nikola Topic. Grade my big board for the Heat at 15, A, B, C, D, or F. Before we get out of here, some second-round targets that I also wanted to mention, as the Heat do have the 43rd overall pick. These are in order of what I want. Now, all of them will not be available at 43. That's pretty obvious. But if they were taken off the board, this is where things stand. I think Jamal Shead is the best fit for Miami in the second round. Undersized point guard, yes, but he is Heat culture personified. Great leader. I think he's going to be good in the NBA. 6 feet tall, but one of the better attack dogs defensively. I compare him a lot to Davion Mitchell from Baylor, and I think that's something Miami could use off the bench as a defender. Terrence Shannon Jr. is intriguing because of his offensive ability. He averaged 23 last year. Harrison Ingram and Jalen Bridges are both 2 forwards that can play the 3 or 4, space the floor, and rebound. Trey Alexander's a cerebral point guard that I really like with good size that can handle a second unit. Nikola Dursic would be quite the upside pick. I love him. They call him the Serbian Paul George. Keyshawn Johnson is an athletic wing from Arizona that can really do it all. Tristan Newton, combo guard from UConn, rebounds, assists, shoots it, defends. Big fan of him. And then 2 big men to round it out. Quentin Post, the center from Boston College, who shot 43% on 4 attempts last year for the Golden Eagles. He is someone who is 7 feet tall. I'd be very intrigued with Miami taking him at 43, or if he were to somehow slip out and be a UDFA. And then Devin Carter, too, the center from UCLA. Kind of a raw athlete and defender, not going to give you a lot offensively. He's not skilled there, but can finish a dunk in transition, finish a dunk in the pick and roll, and maybe give you some ability to play as a backup center in year 1. All right, that really is going to do it for today's show. Make sure you do follow me over on Twitter at Nic_Rohloff, as I'm talking Heat basketball every day, as well as the NBA draft. So if you want more content surrounding the Heat and want to stay the most informed, listen, this is the best place to do it, because when the Heat make a pick at 15 on Wednesday night, you're going to see it first on our live show, second on my Twitter, and then we're going to come out with a full video breaking down the prospect. So make sure you follow me over on Twitter at Nic_Rohloff.